But we have a really powerful message today, especially if this is finding you on the 20th of November, on or around this time. We actually have Uranus that's sextiling and Neptune in Pisces. And this is a very, very powerful transit that's going to be impacting your human journey, okay? So as you walk the path again, you're retrieving something that you had missed the first time. And we have the High Priestess as an archetype in which you're embodying, okay, this octaven dimension that is being expressed through you during this time. So this site was actually a water temple of the Incas, and it's a portal where ancestral intelligence flows directly from the mountain's womb. It's known as a pacarina, which is a water source, and this is information. It's also a cleansing period in which you're going through, where I feel like you're kind of cleansing an old way of viewing the world, and you're having this renewed, I'm hearing curiosity around what this information will do in terms of shifting the dynamics in your life. And this could be the dynamic or connection that you have to something that you're pursuing. That's definitely what it feels like. But yeah, it activates water consciousness. Even walking up here, you have beautiful water streams, like, you know, rivers, right? And all rivers lead to the ocean. And this is about you kind of surrendering to where the current is taking you right now and utilizing this rechanneling of energy as your own. Okay, that's what it feels like. It's almost like the universe is trying to show you another way. Your soul is trying to show you something that you had not seen before. So it can be a familiar place, but almost like you're arriving here for the first time, or you're seeing it from, you know, again, a new perspective of some kind. So it's a rediscovery because this sacred alignment is taking place within you. And it's almost a moving backwards in order to be able to move forwards, knowing that you've already cleared everything, you've integrated everything on a linear path of what is behind you, right? So we're going to talk about the High Priestess, which is symbolic of Mama Yaku. Let me go ahead and pull the High Priestess here for you, and we're going to go ahead and read this energy. So the High Priestess is here. She's at the beginning. She's one of the first archetypes. And in this deck, she's also known as the Swan. So again, it's like you're elegantly moving through the river, but with this underestimated strength that you've cultivated. And it feels like, again, spiritual strength. So with the High Priestess, but let's go ahead and read her real quick. Hold on. So protective, good omen, and clarity. The swan floats effortlessly across the glassy water, scattering droplets in elegant patterns. And I'm seeing this as the way that you navigate through this dimensional plane, where you're able to see the patterns. That's what it feels like. And it feels like a jigsaw piece puzzle in which you're collecting. That is the final piece for the bigger picture of your life. It's almost like things are beginning to make sense in regards to why they've unfolded the way that they are, even though it could feel like things have been disorderly in the way that you've collected these pieces, almost like the ways that you've remembered yourself and the circumstances that brought that along. But there was always a secret ordering in the way that you'd kind of, you know, remember, right, these different parts of yourself. And it's leading to you seeing the cosmos in what once appeared to be chaotic from the human lens. From the lens of the soul, there is a divine order. And the way that you perceive this will shift the way that you experience it, right? Because it changes your energetic signature. So she is at peace with her existence and understands that which is buried deep within the mind. She is your guardian for all important magical transitions and reconnections. So pay attention, right? It literally says she's the guardian and for important magical transitions. So you're undergoing a magical transition right now, and reconnections. It's just you reconnecting with some type of knowledge. It almost feels like with the High Priestess, I'm seeing almost like from a previous lifetime where someone had buried certain codes and information, almost like an artifact of some kind, right? Almost what would be the right word? It's kind of like a relic or an heirloom, but spiritually speaking, it may even not be even a physical, but it feels like you're coming back into alignment with something that you had buried for yourself to discover. And it's almost like the higher self, right? Or the oversoul is seeing the human kind of collect all these pieces that they had left for themselves to find in this lifetime. That's what it feels like. You know what it feels like? A time capsule. You know, once people bury these things and then they find them and they rediscover what was there all along, right? That's what it feels like is happening right now. It's almost like you're discovering a time capsule from like a parallel life. Okay. So anyway, as she drifts, okay, wait, with grace and warmth, she unlocks your unconscious and reunites it with your conscious. So again, you're becoming conscious of something that lied within the unconscious, which is like the shadows waiting to be discovered and integrated. So as she drifts to the melody of the universe, everything comes swirling back to you in a brilliant flash. So that's exactly what's happening during this aspect. And it comes in a way where you'll feel more connected to yourself more than ever. It's a glowing shield that cascades down the neck of the brilliant red swan. This shield represents a protective presence in your life. The swan is an omen for safe changes. If the swan comes up when you have a decision to make, take it as affirmation that what you feel in your mind is what your heart needs to. It represents mental clarity, wisdom, and connection with your unconscious mind. So again, this is like where the psyche merges, is the interface of where ether meets matter. It's where your timeless consciousness is able to remember itself while in this form, right? While in this vehicle, in this vessel. No matter, it's like your same essence that's lived through many different carbon-based life forms, and you're coming back into alignment with remembering your true self, which is not the physical. So if you've been waiting to take the plunge into something new, now is the time. So there could be things that you're actually being guided to do at this stage in your life, and I find it super interesting. We have a few more messages that I'm going to go ahead and pull for you. So with the High Priestess, again, this is Mama Yaku, so it's hidden knowledge that is rising to the surface, and it's the womb of the mountain that's releasing these ancestral messages, right? This one body of consciousness, and how you're reconnecting or retrieving what it is that's always being accessible to you. But it's almost like you're discovering the how. And also the High Priestess is ruled by the moon, and in this deck it talks about illusions and crossing this bridge to meet your higher self, and you realize that what it is that you're looking at or imagining when it comes to the highest possible expression of self, right? The soul's highest expression, and how it can really experience that through this vessel and in this lifetime, is something that you're not separate from. You know, it's almost like you're anchoring and grounding and embodying that version of self. So it's leading to a deeper connection with you. And then here we also have the temple waters. So let me show you quickly. So here you have the temple waters, and it's almost like a living memory. So Tambomachay holds the frequency of flowing water intelligence, but it's not ordinary water, right? It's the Incas, and the Incas would actually call Yaku water, but then also Mama Yaku would be the living consciousness. It would be the origin of consciousness. It would be remembering that you are both parts, but also none simultaneously. This is very much the High Priestess's domain, where she is the gatekeeper of the hidden spring that's carrying these messages forward from Ukupacha, which is your inner world, is to the shadow, right? It's the memory, it's the part of yourself that has forgotten in order to be able to remember. In Kpacha, which is the land of the living, that is the embodiment, that is the physical part, that is the soul experiencing itself through form, all the way into Ħananpacha, which is the vision, it's the prophecy, it's the soul guidance that you receive as you navigate the physical realm. So during the Uranus and Neptune sextile, these three realms begin to integrate and reunite within you. There are huge ants here. The ants actually in my spirit animal message is about collaboration. So that could be huge. It's almost like you're co-creating with all, I'm seeing avenues with yourself, or octaves of yourself, or dimensions. And the transit is water, right? Which is speaking to you when it comes to your experience on earth. It's how the non-physical is speaking to you. It's almost like the subtle intuition that's animating form and spirit, and it's informing you as you embark on this path. That's definitely what it feels like as well, but you're rediscovering what it is that your soul had placed on this path long before you had arrived in the physical, you know? Again, it's like that time capsule was buried long before others would come and, you know, discover it in a linear fashion. So this sextile is the path that you walk twice, especially with, you know, Neptune's retrograde as well. Sextiles aren't loud, they are harmonic aspects. So they reveal an understanding between two forces that are very different, but yet they think alike in some way, right? Uranus is the earthly awakening that's happening, especially in Taurus. And then you have Neptune energy, which is the spiritual memory in Pisces, in which you're recovering, right? It's almost like sudden breakthroughs that could lead to sudden pivots in your life as well. So earth and water, form and flow, and surrender with also structure during this time. So this transit asks you to walk the path again, but not because you missed the lesson, but because something that was hidden is now ready to be seen by you. This is coming from a place that this sheep. This is coming from a place that you cannot see, and your own next steps emerges from a timeline that you have already walked. So you've already walked this in the quantum. You're experiencing the becoming of an event that has already come to be, something that already exists, that you're experiencing the linear unfoldment of. So it's almost like you're retracing a route of some kind, but it's almost like you have to come to the same place again and again to see something with new eyes. You know, we experience this every time we kind of rewatch a movie. We begin to see subliminals that were kind of hidden into the field. You know, we begin to see messages differently, but it's not because the movie itself has changed, but it's because our perspective is beginning to notice things that it hadn't before, right? So I'm seeing this again as planes of consciousness that you've delved into, and it's leading to you no longer, you know, seeing your life on earth the same. So it's preparation, and it's not a delay. It is a sacred recalibration that's taking place in your life that's allowing you to see things that could have been overlooked the first time. So let's talk about the things that you can expect to happen during this time. If we're talking about 𝓻𝓪𝓵𝓻, which is the highest plane of consciousness, this is about vision, prophecies that you may have, as well as aligning with your highest possible timeline on Earth. So Neptune in Pisces is almost like your crown chakra opening, right? Looking at life through the lens of the higher self in physical form. And it represents also the upper terrace that we have here in this site, where light is kind of streamlining and something that you're receiving, right? Information is something that you're receiving right now, and you're actually acting upon that. And it could come through, you know, subtle dreams, altered states of consciousness with Neptune and Pisces, whether that be through meditation, but just diving deeper into yourself. It's going to be synchronicities and the universe speaking to you through everything and everyone around you. It literally is this interconnected blueprint in which you're existing in. And then you have the middle terrace, right, which is known as 𝓂𝓪𝓵, the land of the living. And this is where you can actually integrate that information. It's where you begin to embody it by actually acting upon the things that you're receiving intuitively. And it's the merging between two worlds, right, between two realms, Earth, Taurus energy, and Pisces, water energy. So Uranus is bringing that awakening in form, right? It's where you remember yourself as a non-physical being having a physical experience, and you begin to utilize this vessel as actually a tool to begin to honor the soul's callings in this realm. So this transit allows you to materialize that vision and actually ground it into a tangible experience from something that first started as maybe like an abstract concept or download. It's where you can bring spiritual insight into actually practical movement and implementation. So 𝓂𝓪𝓵 is very much where you walk that sacred ground again, but with a new awareness. It's like you're moving through maybe a familiar environment, but you're seeing it from a completely different level of awareness because you've met yourself on that deeper level. And then you have the lower fountain, which is 𝓤𝓂𝓵𝓻, right? I love being here. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So anyway, this is about the womb. It's about the memory. Again, it's about the shadow and origin. So it's where water actually originates, right? From this hidden wellspring of knowledge. So it's the subconscious mind, and it could even be the old stories that you're ready to rewrite, right? Because it talks about the fearful aspect of yourself. We're talking about lower octaves, slower oscillations. And Neptune brings that memory. Uranus brings that liberation to what may feel like it's your comfort zone. You know, the seed may be comfortable in the ground, but that's not the fate that's written for it, especially when it's in this fertile environment. And that is a great introduction to the Cosmos Oracle messages, because we actually have strophosphere and gravitational acceleration. So strophosphere talks about you being seeded onto this planet and the environmental factors live in your favor, right? It's like you are in this conscious laboratory for soul growth. You are in this conscious womb, right? On Gaia. So let me go ahead and find strophosphere for you real quick. We have 1313 on the clock. This has not been a coincidence, guys. This is about clarity that you're receiving after the storm. You're releasing some kind of ancestral density as well with 𝓤𝓂𝓵𝓻, and you're retrieving a forgotten part of yourself as you begin to rise from this hidden spring. And this is things that also maybe others haven't seen coming, because it's almost like you're rising from the underground. Okay, strophosphere talks about water, oxygen, and life. If a seed falls onto the tarmac, even though it's a seed, its surroundings will not allow it to germinate. But if a seed falls onto fertile soil, get ready to see it grow. Your seed is on fertile soil. So what used to feel like your ceiling is about to become your floor. This is definitely about a breakthrough that you're about to have. And your seed is on fertile soil, which means, again, you being seeded onto this planet, you have all the elemental factors in your favor in order for you to be able to grow and express yourself in profound ways. So life can only develop in this layer of the atmosphere. It talks about a habitual zone that you're in. The environmental conditions are in your favor. And it even talks about, again, you even have lightning and thunder here. So again, this is like, I'm seeing lightning strike the ground where the seed was, and it leads to accelerated growth. That's what it feels like is happening right now. Enjoy the magic of being aligned with a space that provides you the sowing of fertile conditions. So that's exactly what's happening. And then you have gravitational acceleration, which is you heading in a very particular direction. Progress without purpose is kind of counter-creative. Really, your intention should be something that grounds and anchors your roots firmly into the earth as you spring upwards towards new horizons. So gravitational attraction is the force which makes an object move towards the core of a celestial body. You know what quote's coming up right now? I think it's Carl Jung that says, a tree's branches cannot reach the heavens until its roots first reach hell, right? Or I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure you guys know that. Comment down below exactly what it is, but it's literally like, again, it's 𝓂𝓪𝓬𝓪𝓵 all the way into 𝓻𝓭𝓪𝓵. So this also talks about clear direction and also a force of action. The previous speed of the process changes its rhythm and accelerates towards the defined target. The available energy flow gains momentum, strength, and determination. So that's exactly what's happening for you right now. It's almost like you're coming into a very strong alignment with exactly what it is that you're seeding. And this is your higher self having a message for you, because you have third eye activation, which is you seeing things that you had not seen before. I'm gonna go ahead and read this one for you, and it's very much high priestess energy, right? It's about looking at life through the lens of the soul. It's literally tuning into dimensional layers of this reality that have always been coexisting within your field, but you're actually seeing for the first time, or you're able to decode for the first time. So it's also, again, where we send our consciousness beyond this anatomical body into the quantum field. We surf through the illusion of time into infinite fractals of ourselves throughout the multiverse, and we anchor back that information from the future, right? If we're playing the linear game, into this coordinate within space and time, and we act upon that information. So how would it change our path if we had this certain information, right? It's almost like if you had a message from your future self, how would that change the decisions that you make in the now? You're able to access that, or at least that's something that you're learning to do. So this gateway encourages you to unlock your psychic abilities and stop questioning your divine ability to see. Know that great potential and healing will be unleashed when this space is activated. So it's very much seeing your destiny before it unfolds, or a particular destined outcome, because we have more than one destiny. It really depends on what continuum we choose to align ourselves with in the physical. That's the destiny in which we're experienced, right? Those would be the sequence of events that will unfold that will lead to that outcome. So, and this is always, it's very fluid. Again, the future is not something that's fixed. Life and reality is not static. It's a continuous summation of infinite quantum paths, each encoded as a wave of possibility. And it's up to you what possible outcome you want to be able to collapse through space and time, how you want to anchor your future through the action that you're actually embodying and taking in the present moment. Okay. So, again, when we talk about quantum entanglement and quantum non-local connections, it's very much you embodying something that belongs to a coordinate within another reality, and then you begin to resonate at the frequency of what's going on over there, to the point where reality is like, wait a minute, that there's like something doesn't fit. It's almost like this is an anomaly in this world, and that reality begins to be something that you actually draw in towards you, right? It's a reality that begins to reconfigure itself to correspond with your internal state of being. That reality begins to collapse around you. It's not that you go anywhere, it's that you're drawing this experience towards you, right? So this is being unleashed, right, as you activate this ability. If you have an intuition about something, trust what it is that you're seeing. It's a sacred time for the psychic potential that you've had since childhood. It's awakening from slumber. You've always been a dreamer, sometimes thinking about how the future will show up, or revisiting the past. Now the gifts that have been discouraged in the past are reawakening, and your inner vision is stronger than you imagine. You have an innate ability to see further than the human eyes, and you're able to identify the energies of what's going on around you with your activated third eye. This gateway is here as a confirmation that you are seeing and experiencing in divine alignment. Okay, even when we think about imagination, you are literally imagining a nation. You can't imagine anything that doesn't already exist. So you can travel with your thoughts, right, at the speed of light, right? If you could travel at the speed of your thoughts, you can see how you're time traveling with the mind already. You know, have you heard that saying? And it's very much, I feel like, Sagittarius 9th house energy, where a great traveler is the one that knows how to travel with the mind, right? So I feel like you're kind of taking yourself places mentally first before your arrival in the physical. So it's almost like, again, you're visiting different realms, visiting different realities. Now, you also have deep quiet, stillness, and meditation, and you can see the depiction here is very much like the cosmic self image. This energy is very much the universe, not pulling you away from anything externally, but trying to bring you back inwards, because they're trying to show you something, right? You are trying to show yourself something. And meditation and stillness talks about making time, even if it's just 5 minutes in the shower, to reconnect with yourself. Because otherwise the universe will force you into stillness. This is where the law of accident happens, right? Where you end up getting ill, or, you know, there's like a delay that happens, or there's something that forces you to kind of sit with yourself. That is the energy of this, because you also have Will-o'-the-Wisp, which is treasures hidden in the shadow, which I feel like is treasures hidden within the realms of your Ukupacha, right? Your subconscious. They are actually able to pull forward into K-Pacha, right? The land of the living, embody that information. It aligns you with Han and Pacha. It aligns you with being able to trust all octaves and dimensions within yourself in this intercommunication that's happening, because you also have star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, and look a little deeper. So this is some type of alignment that's taking place, because you can see Orion's belt in the sky as well. Trust the timing that you came in on. Time is not running out, okay? So this is very much how you're mothering yourself in your journey on earth, which is really about, you know, being patient with yourself, being compassionate towards yourself and the things in which you're experiencing, even if it could be even, you know, doubt. I feel like this is a lot about the ability that you have to cultivate that self-trust. And another message that I had as well with this Uranus and Neptune forming this same kind of twin flow energy is this transit aligns two parts of your timeline. One is about who you were, and the second one is about who you are becoming, right? Who you are beginning to embody, and you're beginning to merge these dualities within yourself. And in that, you're completing a loop and also returning to a path with more clarity, more awareness, and a deeper alignment within yourself, which allows you to, you know, align deeper to the things that you're doing. It's understanding why you are where you are, what your intention is to experience. And this sextile very much creates fertile soil, right? Because we're putting two complementary elements together, actually two yin aspects. We're putting the earth, we're putting the water together, right? So this is about literally the water that nourishes that seed so that it can begin to break through into a new atmosphere. And that's exactly what's happening within you right now. So it's creating new growth, also a stabilized intuition, right? You're being able to ground your intuition into the physical. There's so many like just interesting insects around me, but it's also about a rebirth of your purpose that's happening, and spiritual downloads that you're able to actually turn into practical application in your life, intuitive strategy, and aligned movement, right? Really being able to congruently align your action with these intuitive hits that you're having, knowing that you're no longer moving from a place of impulse or survival or just K-Pacha, right? Without being able to ground that into this realm. Instead, you're moving with this deep knowing. You know, that's what you're being called to kind of return back to at this time. So standing here during this transit with me, okay, because we're here, you have summoned this and downloaded this into your third dimensional experience, is because you're returning to the origin of your path. You're walking this life with new eyes, right? It's not even like a new eyes, but it's your original eyes. And you're retrieving the wisdom that you couldn't see the first time. And the water remembers you, and so do you. It's like you're able to look at this experience and remember yourself fully. Something within your timeline is beginning to reopen during this time, and it's because you're finally ready and receptive to actually be able to receive this code fully. So it's a beautiful alignment that's taking place in the sky. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, when we talk about Uranus energy, we're also talking about the Tao, which is about you becoming an agent of change. You know, it's a sudden pivot that you're having to open up to. And then also when we talk about again, the moon, it's overcoming self-doubt, right? It's overcoming the unconscious Ukupacha within you, and being able to become greater than the mind, being able to act even in the presence of that fear, and, you know, express the multiple dimensions within you as an interdimensional being, and choose very consciously around what it is that you're wanting to align yourself with. So that is the message for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this tour. I'll probably bring you around more. Let me know in the comments down below as well. Do you guys prefer the longer tours, or do you prefer the messages kind of, you know, straight to the point, just in these sites in general? It would be useful to know that information. But let me go ahead and show you the view that we have. So there's a cave up here. I think I'm gonna try and climb up there. It seems like there's a path eligible. And then we also have down here So yes, with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you right there because I have another site to go to today. Personal reading details are also down below. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Also check out Otter Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. You have 2 discount codes for that down below, where $1 of the proceeds are also donated towards Otter Sanctuaries. And with that being said, comment down below the third eye emoji if you've made it to this point. Anything else that you feel like is high priestess type of energy, comment down below a swan, maybe a crystal ball, whatever it is that you may feel like is that psychic impression which you're tuning into or is having a huge impression on you, right? Woo! There's so many insects. Anyway, I'll speak to you very soon. Until next time, bye.